Hey guys, it's yours truly, Musicalist here,
Hey, subscribers, it's Ethan here.
and welcome to our first of 12 this year, hopefully, monthly updates. So me and Ethan will be giving you updates on the first 3 months, and each month we will also go over this month's videos and stuff that we have planned for the year. We also will go over other projects that we are working on later in the year that aren't coming for a while or don't even have a date just yet. So yeah, we will go over those too. Yeah. So without further ado, I'll let Ethan start off with talking about two of his projects that he is currently working on.
Okay, so for the first thing I'm hoping I can get out for around this month will be my own project called the Project Shinobi.
Indeed. And just like you saw on Twitter, this one is a Naruto talk. So to give some more details about this talk, this one is talking about the original Naruto and Naruto Shippuden in honor of the 20th anniversary of Naruto.
Indeed. Yeah, and those of you wondering, hey, are you do Bruto too? Unfortunately for this one, I will not because this is separate from Naruto and Bruto because they're both in a different series, but continuation. But further ado, it's a main focus on Naruto, not Bruto.
Yes. So even if we do get around to it, just so you guys know, if we do get around to it this year, there will be a follow up to this set of videos that we have planned. But if we don't get around to it until much later, I apologize, Naruto fans. But for this one in particular, this one is indeed focused on just Naruto and Naruto Shipping. Just because Shipping out of the two of them is a very long very long franchise.
Yup, and it's been out like a lot of years, man.
So yeah. But without further ado as well, Ethan, why don't you go over what's going to be featured in part one, which is launching this month, and then part two, which is probably launching next month.
Yeah, or maybe late this month. We don't know yet.
Indeed.
Um, so I would definitely say that what I have is part one would be mentioning about the arcs from original to Shippuden. So I'm gonna recapping the arcs, not by seasons. Seasons are just a lot of seasons, so I only do it by arcs this time around.
Indeed. So that will be part one. Part one will be released hopefully in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I am working with Easily Emily on some other stuff, so I'm not one of this about when I'll get it out, but my goal is to get it within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. The second one I plan to work. And the second part, tell them what the second part will feature.
It'll be about like my opinions with the original Naruto and Shippuden. There are gonna be opinions about top 5 characters, top 5 favorite moments in battles, and also opinions between Naruto, original, and Shippuden. So yeah.
And look forward to seeing all that. So yeah, but part one is a plan to come out later this month. It's the only big video that me and Ethan really have planned for the time being, and then part two should be coming out probably a week or two after that depending on what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is all in terms of projects. Another mini video that is coming out is a mini review on a movie that just came out recently.
Yup. And it's to do with the Spider-Man movie, the recent one that is.
Yep, No Way Home. So Ethan will be doing a mini review on that. It isn't one of our full-fledged reviews because I have not seen the movie yet.
Yup. And I'm not gonna tell you how I felt about it because this is a spoiler.
Indeed, indeed. So you'll have to wait until I have seen the movie to get a full-fledged discussion on this one. But for the time being, me and Ethan's mini review should be coming out within the next week. So you have 2 videos to look forward to, Ethan. Ethan's gonna have a larger role on the channel this year. That is one of our internal goals that me and Ethan have been working on. So that starts this month, hopefully.
Right.
All right, next one. Next thing we're going to talk about is games. So games for the next 3 months that me and Ethan have planned to cover. Okay, so in terms of January, well, you guys have probably already saw this on the channel, but I did put up our first gameplay of the month, which is YouTubers Live 2. I got it on sale, and I've been wanting to cover this game for a while, so that is our first gameplay of the month. Be sure to check it out. I will leave links in the description below to the first of 3 parts I posted. And yeah, this should be very, very fun for you guys to check out.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, the only other game that we have plans to cover at the moment right now this month would just so happen to be Pokemon Legends Arceus. That is the only other game that me and Ethan have plans to cover this month.
I won't be able to cover any game for this month, though. Obviously, from my end, the next game we're going to talk about right after this is what we're going to talk about. It's a bigger Sony exclusive game.
But that being said, continuing on, as I was saying, February is our next month. And we have quite a few things this month, game-wise. So game-wise, me and Ethan have plans to cover, at least at the moment, 2 games.
Yep.
One for each of us. So Ethan, tell them what game you have planned to cover.
The game I'm going to be covering is one of the most anticipated games will be Horizon Forbidden West.
Indeed. Ethan will be doing his usual launch live stream on that, but unfortunately, since Ethan got this not via GameStop or anything, Ethan's gonna have to wait a little bit while, so it won't be on launch day this time.
Right.
So please be patient as you wait for Ethan to get his copy, but it should be within the launch week if shipments or anything to go by.
Right.
But yeah, that being said, look forward to that next month. And also next month, my first game that I plan to pick up that month would be King of Fighters 15, which is I'm going to be playing on my Xbox Series S.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or hopefully the X, which I'm still working on getting done. Some things have popped up, so I gotta fix this first before we can even get the X. So yeah, but that being said, I'm still working on it, so look forward to that still.
Yep.
But yeah, there is those are 2 games that we have planned to cover in that month.
Oh yeah.
All right, and then finally in March, we don't really have too many games to cover in March. There's 2 optional ones that we're thinking about, but we don't want to confirm them just yet.
No.
So the only game I can tell you that we have confirmed for that month is Grand Theft Auto 7, which Ethan will be covering.
Yeah, which I might be trying just because I hope it goes back to actually the original roots, because I did try out Grand Theft Auto Sport in the past. It was garbage.
Hot garbage, and I'm pretty sure Grand Theft Auto fans would even agree on that one.
I just don't see how some people think it's that good, though.
I haven't seen anybody positively place the game online, but if you guys like Grand Theft Auto Sport, feel free to tell us in the comments below why you like it, because I haven't seen anybody like it.
Yeah, I hope by Grand Theft Auto 7, we could actually consider trying out the previous series. I think I did try out the first game of it when I was younger.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Well, L. Okay. Okay. So, yeah. There is that. So, on next. So that is what we're covering game wise for the time being. We'll have more games to talk about later, but those are the ones that I can confirm that me and Ethan will be for sure covering in the near future.
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing we'll talk about is movies. Now, January, outside of what we just discussed, is pretty quiet.
Yeah, it is.
Movie wise, we don't really have any movies to cover. But starting in February, this starts my Ethan's movie coverage. We will be going to check out the Uncharted movie in February.
Yeah, Uncharted though feels like it might be different from the games I noticed.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. So depending on what happens, either Ethan will cover it by ourselves or we'll be covering it together. But that being said, if Ethan does cover it by himself, no worries. Ethan's played all the Uncharted games, so I trust him to give a pretty decent discussion about it.
Except 4 all the way through though. I did play 4, but not all the way through yet.
Indeed. So yeah. But we'll see what happens with the Uncharted movie. And given whatever was Ratchet and Clank, I'm not necessarily confident.
But this is not an actual reboot this time around. It feels like it might be like a prequel from the Uncharted games. Who knows?
Indeed. But Sonia, all I ask is please don't make this movie suck like a Monster Hunter movie.
Oh, please. I didn't even watch that one yet.
Yeah, and I heard it was awful for Monster Hunter fans, but I'll be the judge of that when I play. I mean, watch.
Oh, boy.
So that doesn't sound a good pendant going forward. And as you guys know, recently they announced that they're working on a Twisted Metal series. So if this movie ends up sucking, well, there goes Twisted Metal right down the drain.
Please. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Indeed, indeed. All right. Then in March, Ethan plans to cover the Batman movie.
Which is going to be different from the other Batman movies.
Indeed. This one is just titled The Batman. So saying it's the Batman movie actually fits this time.
Yep.
So yeah, Ethan is gonna be seeing this one by himself. So I won't be tagging along for this one. So expect Ethan's discussion about that.
Yep, for sure.
Are you excited about the Batman movie, bud?
Looks pretty good. I'm really I can't wait to see how that goes.
Indeed, indeed. All right, and then we're gonna go a little bit into April for this one because this one's kind of obvious, but the Sonic movie, of course, me and Ethan plan to cover.
Yeah, that's kind of like actual confirmed already.
So yeah, me and Ethan plan to cover the Sonic movie. Of course, I don't need to say anything more about this one since a lot of you already know at this point. But yes, we do plan to cover the Sonic movie when it comes out in April.
Yep, Sonic 2.
Yes, Sonic 2. And speaking of which, if you want to know what my and Ethan's thoughts were on the previous Sonic movie, click above me, and you'll see a card for the Sonic movie.
Yep.
So yeah, look forward to that. But that being said, that's all for movies this year as well so far. We'll discuss things a little bit closer to time, but that's pretty much it so far in terms of movies.
Yep.
Okay, in terms of anime, now outside of the Naruto showdown, Naruto video, we don't really have all that many plans for anime series coverage for the time being.
Well, except for like on, let's see, we could talk about the anime movies though that they already know and we might cover in the future.
Yes. So in terms of the anime movies, we do have a couple, but these have no dates at all, so we don't know when we'll be covering these.
And they did say it's to be announced this year, though, originally.
All right. So, Ethan, why don't you go over them?
Okay, for the first one, it did came out in Japan first, and we don't know yet when it's coming. So that's already on in the theaters. It's called Jutsu Kenshin Zero. That one is actually a prequel. So, and I heard it did well in Japan.
Oh, I see. I see. Ethan's been talking about Jintu Kenshin a little bit, so I'm interested to see what that movie's all about.
Yeah, yeah, and has done well. So for by then, it was out in Japan already. And now let's hope it does well in overseas.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to seeing your talking discussion about it, bud. All right. What's the next one?
Another one would be Red One Piece Red film.
Yes. So this one doesn't have an official title, I think, yet, unless of course that is the official title, but I highly doubt it. And this one is going to be having a big focus on Shucks, one of the people who was introduced later in the One Piece anime.
And now it is actually the character that give Luffy the straw hat and give himself the title King of Pirates. He wants to be the King of Pirates.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. So we'll see how Shucks does. Shucks does. Does this mean that Luffy and him will finally be meet again? Who knows?
Yup.
But yeah, I'm very excited to see this. Of course, there's no date on this one, so we don't know exactly when.
Again, that said to be announced this year, though. We don't know when exactly.
Of course, we're expecting Japan to get it first because Japan always gets it first.
Yep.
But yeah, look forward to that. All right. The next one the last one that we're looking forward to film wise.
And this one, I wasn't that hyped for it, but I'll cover it just for the sake of it. Is Dragon Ball Super Superhero.
Indeed. So me and Ethan will be seeing Dragon Ball Superhero. Again, we don't know exactly when, but we will be covering that one as well.
And I noticed for the trailer, as I saw, it did look like it was going to be featuring Gohan the most, I noticed, but that's Goku's son, by the way.
Indeed. For those who haven't seen the anime in a while.
Yup. And to me, it feels like they might premiere that Gohan was doing in the Cell Saga. I felt like.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, we'll see what happens with this movie.
Yup. And I don't know when the timeline is, but we'll find out till then.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Could this mean that Dragon Ball Super could be returning with a new season soon? We'll have to see.
Yup.
But yeah, those are all the anime movies we've had to cover. Of course. There is one more project that me and Ethan want to talk about anime wise, and that's One Piece.
Yup.
So
and right now, what's gonna happen is I'll be waiting for MC when he's ready to watch more of One Piece, while I bench watch Bleach right now.
Indeed. Once we're ready, me and Ethan will be catching up on the rest of the modern day One Piece episodes, and we watching some older ones to get some knowledge to refresh. And then I will be continuing on the classic side of One Piece, and then when we're both ready, since it's gonna take me a while, and it won't take Ethan too long, of course, but it will take him a little bit. To watch do a video on it. And how it's gonna work, I'll be taking care of the classic side, Ethan will be taking care of the modern side.
Yep, and that's where Luffy is up to, like close up after 1,000 episodes.
Indeed. And speaking of which, before we start the video, we will also be talking about the 1,000th episode as well. Well, just because I feel like since this is a huge milestone for Luffy, that I will do it. Oh, and warning, this will contain spoilers for the whole anime. So if you don't want to watch it, I would definitely recommend watching the whole anime, and it's a lot to swallow, by the way. So before we get that video out, I recommend if you want to watch that video, I recommend you start watching it right now after this video.
Exactly.
Because you got 1,000 plus episodes to get through.
Yup. And even JR, as our buddy JR, he's actually literally been binge watching the anime, and it's insane.
Really, really is insane. I can't imagine how many issues of the manga there is.
Oh, I would assume more than this episodes, maybe.
Probably. But we'll see. But yeah, that being said, look forward to that video as well. That's one of our longer term projects that me and Ethan have planned, hopefully to come out this year, depending on how things go.
Yup.
All right. I think that's about it. But before we go, me and Ethan have one last big project to talk about.
Yup.
Roll the trailer. And there it is, our very first documentary here on the channel, how we became the Maniaics.
Indeed.
All right, so how this is gonna work is, for the most part, it's gonna be a two-sided series where me and Ethan will have our own discussions and come together at one point or the other.
Indeed.
So Ethan, why don't you explain your first part?
My first part will be to do with my childhood and middle school. And this is before I met MC back in the time. And this is where that in a childhood of mine will be where that I first known anime. Well, not necessarily, but just a little small introduction to anime that I don't know of when I was younger. Of course.
Indeed. Back in the day, Ethan didn't know the difference between anime and cartoon, just like probably a lot of us. So it's not until later that Ethan learned about it being an anime, but this was his first introduction when he was a kid.
As I did not know of. And of course, I watched like other Saturday morning cartoon shows, including Sonic X and all that. Obviously, I'll explain it during the and right around the time I explained the video. And I first known Yu-Gi-Oh. Well, I should say playing certain anime like Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Indeed. Now, gaming wise, unfortunately, out of the two sides, that one's a blur for Ethan. He remembers some stuff, but not everything.
And that's okay though.
Indeed. So, in terms of gaming, expect Ethan to be a little bit blurry with that one prior to meeting me.
Yeah.
Of course, my side for anybody who's watched my previous one, the story of a video game DJ, you know my story beforehand, and I will be re-explaining that one for my part and prior to meeting Ethan, of course. With a couple other details I didn't explain in that particular video, so look forward to that.
Yep.
Okay, so part 2 is going to be a little bit interesting and different. There's going to be 2 parts to this part 2. So the first one, me and Ethan will come together for the first time and discuss our meeting of how we met in high school and how he and I became the best of friends.
Yup.
We will also discuss again some of our influences and stuff around that time. So around that time, I was still a hardcore Nintendo fan. So I will be and this was Ethan's first introduction into the world of a certain huge franchise that just recently celebrated one of its big milestone anniversaries last year.
Yup.
So yes, look forward to that. as well.
Indeed.
And then we will be going down our respective paths for part 2 of 2, going into high school, because after middle school, me and Ethan actually split it into 2 different high schools. All right, sorry about that, folks. So yeah, let me try that again. So after we discuss about the middle school, yeah? Yeah, I did. Okay, gonna have to cut that out too. Sorry about that, guys. As always, distractions.
Mhm.
Let's try.
Well, we're cutting up to here.
Yeah, unfortunately. All right, so let me try that again. So after me and Ethan split after middle school, unfortunately, this is where we merged into part 2 of 2. Me and Ethan split into 2 different routes.
Unfortunately.
So, for that being said, Ethan, why don't you explain what your part is going to be about?
This is right around like in high school, obviously. This is explains where I actually got fully better introduced to anime and how I got into Fire Emblem.
One
Pretty
of
much.
one of Ethan's biggest and most favorite series to this day that he loves to play.
Yup.
So that one is gonna be big. Oh, I should also mention this. Outside of maybe a couple things, me and Ethan will not be mentioning any in real life events or any in real life characters.
Unfortunately.
I mean friends, sorry.
Yup.
Just for the sake of keeping things private and not wanting to expose any names outside of our YouTube pals who we both know already.
Oh yeah. Except for JR and PK. And I can mention one of my friends that was in New Jersey, but I will not mention his name though.
Yes. So that is going to be about it in terms of us discussing stuff. And that's not going to be till way later. So.
Yep.
Okay. So that being said, continuing so the high school is going to be basically just me and Ethan translating into stuff. This is when me and Ethan started to lose a little bit of interest in Nintendo because after the Wii U, me and Ethan weren't very, well, let's just say we weren't very happy.
Yeah.
So things didn't look up for either of us in terms of that. But we still had fun during that era of our lives. So that's not to say it's completely bad.
Right.
But I will just say this. In terms of Ethan's in real life high school, there's a good reason why Ethan is not discussing that.
Must just say I did not have a good pass. I'll put it that.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, then finally, we will be going into Ethan and mine's final part of this documentary, which is going to be talking about how we are today. So from 2016 onwards, me and Ethan will be splitting this last bunch again into 2 different parts. The first part for both of us will be, and both of Ethan's parts will be called Plus Ultra because this is around the time he got into My Hero Academia. This one is called the Transition Era, and the other era many parts inside of it will be discussed as well. And we will be discussing 2016, 17, and 18 in that first part.
Indeed.
2016 is nothing super significant in terms of both of us, at least from what I remember.
Yeah, I think I do remember I started on YouTube around that time.
That's correct. So there is at least one significant one, but outside of that, not really. Nope. The second year, I should say, second year out of that part will be 2017. And this is when me and Ethan translated to where we are today in terms of consoles that we own, as well as in terms of in general stuff that we have. General content that we have. 2017 is what I consider our transition year from Nintendo gamers into Xbox and Sony gamers.
Yup.
Well, Ethan returning into Sony gamers thanks to a specific game that I'm pretty sure a lot of you remember.
Yup. And I felt like I regained who I was, basically.
Indeed. In terms of Microsoft, it was thanks to a certain racing franchise that got me into it. And if anybody's been a long-time Microsoft fan, or at least have been around long enough to know about the series, you know which franchise I'm specifically talking about.
Yep.
This is also the era where I started to get really deep into the Sonic franchise. So, yeah. Then 2018 is what me and Ethan both consider the revival era, the childhood and revival era for both of us. Because this year was the announcement and return of two of our favorite franchises.
Yep. I think I do remember back in 2018. That's when I first got into My Academia, or first introduced to it.
Indeed. Also, around that time, me and Ethan also got into several other stuff, as well as, like I said, two of our favorite franchises returning. Mine is kind of obvious, but Ethan's, well, let's just say he's been hoping and playing since a certain Bandicoot's remake was announced and released.
Oh, yeah.
So, congratulations on that for Ethan. Of course, unfortunately, the years after that haven't been nice to either of those franchises, but at the time, it was still very good to see these games come out.
Yep.
And then finally, the last and final part of this, we'll be discussing 2019, 2020, 2021, so the year prior, and then where we are today.
Exactly.
So 2019 marked a pretty big year for us. So many events happened, I can't even count on my fingers. So yeah. We will go over that in that video part, though. 2020 was an interesting year for both me and Ethan, mainly due to what happened with, you know what.
Yep.
But yeah, and then 21. Well, we'll give our thoughts on how that year went in that video, but it was up and down, really.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say, in terms of in real life, again, that was probably what I consider one of Ethan's worst in real life years ever.
And I will not mention it, though, just because, again, I can mention some other bad stuff, like kind of like a life stories like this certain YouTuber, but I will not mention the name, though.
Yeah, indeed. But that being said, that is going to be about it. And then we'll talk about how we did this year. So you're probably wondering when the first two parts are going to be coming out. Well, me and Ethan have just started work this month. My goal for the first two parts for this whole documentary series to come out is May 6th to be specific. So on my birthday.
Yep.
So, yeah. I'm very excited to do this. We've been trying to do this for a while, but I think we'll finally get it down this year. So, buddy, do you have anything you want to say before we wrap this up about the series?
I don't.
I see. Well, I hope you look forward to learning more about me and Ethan. Well, I guess you know a good chunk about me, but you don't know Ethan N very well like I do. There's some things in his past that are going to surprise and shock you, that you would think, huh? I didn't know that about him.
Well, you'll know soon enough.
Indeed. All right, guys, that's all for this month's monthly update. Thank you all for being patient with me and Ethan during the move as well. It's been really great. Me and Ethan are going to probably going to take some getting used to, but yeah. Oh, one last thing I wanted to mention. Now, you guys have probably seen that we've been to 3 major gaming events. The first one is, of course, the Nintendo Switch launch event, which, of course, we've talked about previous times on the channel plenty. But for those who don't know, I got invited via email from Nintendo to the Nintendo Switch launch event before the Switch even launched in February.
Yep.
So yeah, there's that. We didn't do too much vlogging back then, but I do have a discussion video talking about that.
Yep.
Although that's one event I'm pretty sure Ethan's gonna want to get because let's just say that's a case of Ethan being too hyped for a video game.
Oh yeah.
Okay, the second event that me and Ethan too was our very first Comic-Con, which was the Wisconsin Comic-Con.
Indeed.
We met plenty of people there, but Ethan didn't get too many autographs back then. That was probably one of the least significant cons in Ethan's opinion.
Oh, I have gotten some autographs, but not as much. But full-graphs, not as much either.
So yeah, and then of course you guys know that this last year we went as my last adventure in my previous home state to C2E2.
And that was a fun one. I've been to.
Oh yes, that one is a fun one. So you're probably wondering what we're gonna do for this year. Well, we're gonna try to do more conventions. The next one me and Ethan have our eyes on is Anime Milwaukee.
Yep.
I don't know exactly if we'll be able to go or not, or if it's just gonna be me. We do have our eyes on two people there that we want to see. We won't say for obvious reasons, because I like to surprise you guys. But that is our next con. The only issue is that the tickets cost $50 at the moment for both me and Ethan to go, and Ethan only has Horizon Forbidden West in February. So,
yep,
this is gonna really depend on how we're able to go. I'll let you guys know on Twitter if we're able to go or not, but I just wanted to let you guys know that this year we're also going to try to go to a couple of conventions. Of course, in terms of going to C2E2 again, it's in August, so we will have to wait and see how Ethan does during the summer with his friend. Friend he wants to see in New Jersey. What happens with that?
Yep.
But that being said, I would love to go to C2E2 again. I had a blast last year, but we'll have to see what happens with the voice actors for that one as well.
Indeed.
Ethan's next goal for a voice actor to meet, he wants to be Obeko Oroko's voice actor.
Yes, I do. That is one of the voice actors I do want to meet. I mean, there's others, but I just gotta keep waiting until there's more mentions. So yes, indeed it is.
Yes. Ethan's ultimate goal, of course, is to meet Matthew Mercer, who is the voice of Crumb from Fire Emblem Awakening. That is Ethan's ultimate goal.
Oh yeah, not just Fire Emblem, McCree. Well, we used to be McCree in Overwatch, and also the character from Attack on Titan, of course, for English.
Yes. And of course, why my goal is to eventually meet all three Sonic voice actors that have voiced Sonic previously and currently. My ultimate goal at the moment is to meet Patrick Craig Smith, who voices obviously Sonic the Hedgehog, and I am still trying to find him. He was there at a convention, a couple conventions last year, but I missed him. So yeah, down my luck.
Yep.
But yeah, just so you guys know, we might be going to a couple more conventions this year, so keep an eye out on the Media Maniacs channel for those.
Yep.
All right, that's all for now. Thank you for tuning into this month's monthly update. I will give you guys more updates next month and let you guys know if anything is changed or if anything has come up. And of course, be sure to subscribe to the Media Maniacs channel for more stuff. Like I said, there's going to be a lot more variety this year. And hopefully there will be more than just straight up video games on this channel.
Indeed.
Do you have anything you want to say about the new year one more time, bud?
Well, I think that's all we have.
All right. Well, this is yours truly, Music Clues.
Ethan, signing out.
And y'all have a nice
Gaming Day.
See ya.